Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about cleaning and painting 3D printed wheels and tires. So I just got an order in. I just ordered some stuff from DawgsModelCars. Ryan Jones sent me some stuff, and we're going to take a look at how I do my method of cleaning and painting 3D printed wheels and tires. So first thing I do is I get the tire sanded on the inside. I usually use these little sanding sticks I get at Hobby Lobby. And I'll go around there and just get the inside pretty smoothed out. And then on this particular case, this is a two-piece wheel. The lips on these fit pretty good just the way they are. So I just block sanded this part of the wheel. And then I usually make sure that these fit both tires, like both rims fit both tires. So I don't have to mark them, and I know they're gonna fit no matter which one I put it in. Because when I get these done, I just want them to slip right back in. Now these tolerances on these wheels are really extremely tight in general. So you have to allow for paint, and I'm gonna show you how I do that. And the nice thing about Ryan's from Z-Force wheels, he puts a little lip on the top of these, like on the fronts. Most of them, they kind of go through. But these ones I got from him are really nice. They have a little lip, so there's like, a stopping point for that. So I just do the normal stuff. I get these cleaned up, and I wash them just with soap and water. And then usually I put them in my dehydrator to dry. My dehydrator, I have a big Sharpie mark on, mine's adjustable. I got a Cabela's. It's very adjustable heat-wise, so I have it set on like really low setting for heat for this 3D resin in general. So then once I get these ready, then I'm ready to mask them for paint. And I just use, just blue tape or whatever tape I have. Now this has a little lip on it, so I just want to tape this like right below that. Just want to get that on there. And then I'll paint this as one piece, because I want some chrome in here and I want chrome out there, but I don't want to get paint on this inner lip. I want to keep that clean. So I want to keep this outside clean, and I want to keep that inside clean so that I don't have fit problems. And so here you can see where I have these taped, and I already have my Tamiya gloss black on these. And I usually give these 2 or 3 coats. Now, depending on the amount of, I didn't even prime these. Depending on the amount of lines or detail on these, so you can hit these pretty hard usually with paint. So those I got painted the first 3 coats of Tamiya regular gloss black. My tires I use Tamiya TSA2 rubber black. And then I put on all my tires, I use my world famous Krylon flat crystal clear, and I just dust that on. I don't get crazy with that. I dust it on. And then when I go to paint my tires, I just take paper and I just roll it up. I don't mask the tire per se. I just roll it up and stick it in there. And then I'll tape that down. Well, here I got some already set up. So that's the way I paint them. I usually paint the backs first. I'll paint the backs first. I'll let them dry for a couple of minutes, and then I just tape them down and paint the fronts like that. And then I'll just put the crystal clear, the flat crystal clear. I usually don't do the backs of them. I just do the fronts and the sides and stuff. So, and they come out nice and clean. So you can see they're still nice and clean on the inside. So they're ready to go. Now, my wheels, depending on the wheel, if it's a 2-piece wheel, after I get them black, then I use the Revell spray chrome, and I'll put 3 coats on that. And you can see this is like, she's ready to go. Now, I just painted this last night, so I'm going to be careful picking this up. Like I said, I don't touch my chrome, but let me show you what this looks like when I untape it. So at this point, we just untape this. I think I did how to do 2 layers on this. How about we put that wheel down? Since these are wider, I used, normally I sometimes use the blue tape. This particular case, I just use the Tamiya tape. I like that Tamiya tape. And then I'll pull that apart. So, that lip's nice and clean. That connection there is nice and clean. So that's ready for paint. Now, that particular wheel has a center cap, which are here. And then I added a little bit of, on mine, I added some world famous Panaline black inside of here in the ridges. And I have a wheel done, so I'll show you what the finished wheel looks like. So once I took this apart, this wheel apart, then I'm ready to paint the wheel itself. And so I use, now this particular wheel, you can use any color you want, but on my 2-tone wheels that I like gray, I use Vallejo, and this particular one is sky gray. You can use any shade, you can use any color really. And that's acrylic, so you can, when I paint this wheel, when I go in here and paint this wheel, if I make mistakes, because it's acrylic, I can go in and touch up a little bit. And then once that's painted, you put, you're putting that trim ring back on, and then you're assembling that whole wheel. And I use super glue on all my 3D printing stuff. Sometimes I'll use epoxy, 5-minute epoxy, but so that wheel's ready to go. And then I have an old 55 Chevy body, because these are called, these are called Tri-5 wheels. So you can see this ready to go. Oops, I guess I should pull that down. So you can see that wheel's ready to go. And I'm bumping the camera. Now, I didn't put my valve stems on these yet, but I did do a set. He also does a set of these non-capped rally wheels and non-trim rings. Now these I drilled, and I use the, on this particular case, I got some of these SCO tire valves. They're from overseas, but I know, I'm pretty sure that the 3D printers, all the big name 3D printers, I think they do tire valves also. Those are just the particular ones I use. And so usually I will take my calipers and measure the tire valve, and then I'll take my appropriate drill bit. I usually go one size larger, so I think this is 0.016, and I think I have one here at 0.17. I marked it. This one here. Anyway, I checked that one, and that's like one, just a little bit larger. And so I painted my tire valve, and then after I drilled it, I stuck it in, and then I super glue it from the back and hit it with a little accelerator, and then I sand that down from the back, and that's how I did that. Now that particular one I used, I painted the chrome lug nuts with a chrome pen, and then the black, I just got one of these. These are the Rage AK flat black markers. These things are awesome. So I just painted that inside with that, and that's got a really soft tip on it. They're hard to find. I had to go on Amazon. I found some overseas somewhere. Andy's has them, but they're Andy's Hobbies, but they're hard to find. They're like, everybody's sold out of them, and they're the Rage. So again, I have this clean on the inside, and this wheel just slips in real nice and easy. Real nice and easy. And these are going to go on my, yeah, they know they're Nova. So these are going to go on this thing. It's going to be another Nova. Plain Jane Nova. It's going to be a plain Jane. I already sanded off all the trim on it. This is the new issue, the 65 Super Sport. So that's going to be that one. So let's review. Whoops, I'm bumping. Hang on, I'm bumping. So we're going to put, after we get them fitted, then you're just putting a piece of paper in there like that, and you're painting your wheel. Whatever process you use. I like the Tamiya Rubber Black and the Krylon Crystal Clear. Now, in some cases, if the wheels have the lines in them, I will prime first and maybe sand like the edge, but some of these are impossible to sand, so I build the paint up on them. Like I said, 3 coats of black on this, no primer on this one, and they turned out nice. So if they're smooth now in black, they're going to be smooth in chrome. These, I didn't even paint black. These, I just went 3 coats heavy on the chrome. And of course, this just has 3 coats on it. So, and then you pull them apart, and then they'll always go back together nice, really nice. Again, I don't touch my chrome, so I don't touch the top lip of this. I just keep them clean. And then I paint that, pull that apart, paint whatever you want to paint if you want to paint them. Again, I like contrast on my wheels, so I like you know, the different colors, and you can paint these any color that you want. But that's Revell chrome. If you do it right, it's the bomb. I'm sorry, it's just really good. So I touched it, but these are just to show. So I hope that helps you. Again, these are some other ones I got. I don't know why I got these. I don't even like these kind of wheels, but I'm intrigued by these. So these are kind of cool. These wheels are really nice. But most of the 3D ones are really nice that I've gotten from everybody. But these are, and I already sanded these too. I got these fitted. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with these, but his wheels are really nice. I like that lip on the front. That's a nice touch. You know, some of the other ones it's like a hit or miss. Now when I super glue these in, you know, these will go in from the front, and I probably will put maybe 2 or 3 drops. Well, I'll glue this together with 2. I will take a toothpick and just put 2 drops of super glue on that, and I'll just tack them together. And then when I go into my wheel, I'll put super glue towards the back. So as I'm pushing it through, it'll catch that super glue. So I'm trying to do this on camera. Yeah, it'll catch that super glue on the way through there. So you have a nice fit without having to handle it too much. Okay. And, oh, and then also Ryan makes these nice disc brakes and rotors. So these I painted with, I use this Vallejo steel, figuring it's a steel rotor. And I just grabbed some Tamiya red lacquer. And then of course I dumped my panel liner, you know, because I use that by the gallons. I just dumped some panel liner on it, so they're ready to go. And they fit all his wheels on the back. They just go against there. You know, they fit in nice. That's a nice thing about these open wheels. You can really see your disc brakes in there. I do have a disc on this one. You just can't really, you can't quite see it. But these open wheels, you know, you can see the disc on these. You know, you can see them pretty good. I'm gonna have to do some big ones for that one. Anyway, you get the point. I think you get the point. I hope that's been helpful. You know, have any questions, just shoot me some questions. I'll try to answer them. Painting is very subjective, so I will try and answer them the simplest that I can. But if you keep these surfaces, clean. Of course, now I can't get that off on camera. If you keep this surface here, the edge, where they're going to be together, and I like painting them together. I know it's a little harder. And then I'll take these apart, and then I'll do my contrast. I'll paint my gray in here, or black. This one here I'll actually have gray and black, but I want to keep the chrome in the middle on the centers and the lug nuts. Now I guess you could paint them with a chrome pen. You could paint that separately if you want to. I haven't gotten that far on these, but that's how they work. And you keep this surface clean. So remember, I just tape up to that lip edge, a little bit under that lip. And then you might have to sand this sometimes, but they actually fit pretty good. I really didn't have any trouble with them. If you don't put paint on these, keep this clean, those tight tolerances, once you get them to fit a little bit better, they're fine. You don't need to redo them. So keep that in mind. And that's going to be it for this one. So hopefully you learned a little bit, and I hope that helps you. Let me know. Give it a try. And I'm sure there's other methods on doing this. Everybody has their own methods. This is just the method that I use. So if you like it, or you like half of it, you can use half of it. You can pass it on. But, give it a try and see what you think. All right? Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.